Hello, Emperors of my collective. What is up? So, I have a reading for you guys. So, today's reading, well, it is a meeting. Hi, welcome. The message is everything is opposite. So, if you kind of look at like the last video, I think the first one was like how to maneuver through the smoke. And then the next one after that, I was talking about the next two steps, right? Let me see. They're like all in order. So the first one was the illusion of necessity. So I was talking to you guys about how when there's like a big conflict in your life, there's a lot of smoke, you know, that can happen from life or from people just trying to confuse you. It's meant to confuse your choice so you don't know how to move. So then I taught you guys how to know how to move is by taking away that one big thing, that one person or that one thing that one thing that makes you feel like you need it to keep going. And that can come as an extra responsibility, a job, or just honestly, people that are in your way or just around you that you feel like, man, if I just let this go, I'll be lighter, you know? And then in the next part two, I was talking about manufactured warfare. How the one thing I want is the one thing I need to release. Because that one thing that you want so bad is the one thing that people can use against you and weaponize it because you want it and you feel like you need it. But then when you remove that, it's like you're lighter. And that's why you only focus on the next two steps at a time. Because I told you the path will reveal itself, but the true path is the path that is in darkness. And then it's crazy. Last night, if you look at this, so that was like 5:27. This is like 5:28. I kept stopping the reading because I felt like, I don't know, I just wasn't delivering it well, but that's just me trying to be a perfectionist. But anyways, now I can kind of go back to it so it wasn't wasted. Echoes, cut off those that echo. So now I understand where that came from. So as you are removing things and situations and people, you cut off things that are similar, that echoes what you're cutting off. Because what happens is if you have one person who is causing you so much weight, most likely you have a whole bunch around you, okay? Because that was your energy. It's not saying that they're bad. That's just the type of people or the type of situations that you attracted before. So that's why you cut off the one in the moment. So right now, while you don't make a list of everything you got to cut off. No, the path will keep revealing itself. So as you're getting lighter, it's like losing weight. A pound comes off at a time. So as you're getting lighter and you're moving forward, you keep doing the same thing. You start removing other things that echo the weight that you just released. And what I got from you in that message last night was, you have a gold digger around you. That's basically what I'm going to say about that. Someone or people who are around you are draining you and it's causing you to be in lack in whatever way. So lack doesn't just have to be financially. It could be just lack of your joy, lack of your peace. It's causing you just to be in lack. So you're probably used to overgiving to a lot of people, but what I got last night is that there's someone that you're intimate with or someone who you fund, who you have to let go of. And like you can see here, it says the person you are with is draining your money. They are draining you from a wound, because wounds, people profit from wounds. That's why players, if you are just someone who just has a lot of options because you just like, you're the man, you ain't settling, and you love them and you leave them, that's cool. And you may think that, hey, I'm not settling with no one, but guess what? Women don't want you to. A lot of men think that they're doing that because they're all alpha and stuff, but you want to know something? Women want you to think that because they want you to think that you're actually the alpha and that you're the man because you can have whoever you want. But you want to know what they're really saying? The fact that you're even doing that is because you're wounded. Because if you really loved yourself, you're going to want one woman who loves themselves, and together you guys will be a power couple and dominant and multiply and have babies. But because you are giving to all these other women, they're all taking your energy, and they're taking your energy because the only reason why you're doing that is because there's some type of wound connected to your heart. And the reason why that's more profitable is because your heart is what's connected to God. So if you're blocking your heart from loving, then in some way you are blocking God from even entering your heart and pouring into you, because God will pour into you through the right person. Dang. I don't know. That was it with that one. So your wounds are abundant. And these women love players, but a lot of players be like, oh man, I'm just gonna like just take what I want from them and then just go. They're gonna nah, but the fact that you did that, if they connected to you or had sex with you, just simply because you have that wound, then they have a cord to you. And the only way to cut that cord is for you to love yourself and think of yourself and your seed as valuable. Because what they really don't want is for you to choose someone. And then they'll be trying to fight you because they know that you're not accessible anymore. They know that they can't profit from you. They know that they can't take from you. And these type of women, like the women that are like, oh, I mean, you can go do what you want. You can just, I don't mind having you and you doing what you want. And then because they are connected to you through that wound. And then they can, like, I'm telling you, like, dark spiritualists, dark practitioners, I'm telling you, they love that about yourself. They love men who don't want to settle down. Never settle, ever. Go for the best. But they love men who just feel like they're the man because they're a player. Because they really believe that you're not. That's what they believe. And that's why a whole bunch of women back in the days, they're like, oh, like kings had a whole bunch of like mistresses and stuff, and why the wife didn't care or things like that. Because if that king operated at that level, then everyone could profit from that. They could have just babies from that. Like they can all get that royal energy in some type of way. Because they felt like, kings were all chosen by God, so they wanted to be in any way a part of that stuff. So right now, if you're abundant, if you're like, if you're abundant, that abundance comes from God. And those women know that about you, but you don't know that about yourself. So they want that abundant energy. So they don't care how they have you. So you are in lack of true abundance, because true abundance is love, and that multiplies, not just physical earthly abundance. And it's crazy. You'll keep getting paid or making a lot of money, and like the world will validate you just so you could feel like you have enough. But truly, without God's love, you will never have enough, and you'll always be an overproducer. So I guess I was finally meant to give that message, because that could not come out last night. So anyways, everything is opposite. Yo, it's crazy. It flows. It all flows. I wasn't supposed to give it last night, so I'm going to give it to you right now. Everything is opposite. What's for you rests in the opposite of what you normally choose. Because, listen, everything is, so for me, let me tell you something for me. I'm talking about me. So everything in life, especially from a child, doesn't want you to truly know who you are. So let me tell you something about me. I'm going to go through a little bit of my trauma. So my experience with men is shit. It is. I never got to witness and like, well, now I do have a couple of good friends now because I healed that wound. But the devil knows who you're supposed to be. And from a child, it will do things to kind of keep you off that path. So for me, I talk to women emperors and men emperors, but I talk to a lot of men because a part of me believes that all men are not like what I've experienced. So, for example, I didn't get the blessing to know who my dad was. My mom lied and told me that my brother's dad was my dad, and this man was a criminal. This man was someone who stole from me, all of that. And then my stepdad was someone who, at a very young age, touched me very inappropriately. And I was like a teenager, just curvy and developing and all of that. So when I went to go speak about that, he has a big family. One is like a cop. These other people, men who I really cared for, they all said I'm a liar. And that whole family, all of my uncles on that side, my aunts, they all cut me off. So I was shunned for speaking on something that happened. And then my grandfather, he was the pastor of a church. He took my stepdad's side. And so then we went to DFAX. The DFAX lady likes and flirting with my stepdad. And so and then my stepdad growing up, because I spoke about that, he would take it out on me where he didn't buy me clothes. He didn't give me lunch money. So I got a job very young and became my own provider. My first job was like McDonald's at like 15. So I bought my own school stuff. I bought my own food and everything. And so that created a cycle. Like my kids' fathers, both of them were abusive, all abusive. And then they gave me like my first black eyes. They gave me all that stuff. And then their family, no one said anything about it. And then I remember a few years ago, I went through such a traumatic situation with a man who came into my life kind of as like a mentor. Someone, because what I needed help was, it's like, I'm really good at making money. I'm like a money making engine. I needed help learning how to invest and grow it responsibly, because I just had no support with that. And I was just always just surviving. Well, that person took advantage of that. I ended up building his company, making him a lot of money. And then he just got abusive and then just left me out to dry and then tarnished my whole reputation. And then it was like, I speak up about that. And then I have male cops come, they all ignored me. It's just like my whole life, men who I felt were supposed to be protectors weren't. I thought men were weak. That was like my whole point of man. I'm like a little 5'2" girl and I'm out here like getting it out the mud by myself. And then if I tell like a guy, it's like they don't do anything. They don't protect. I feel like men don't protect women. But everything is opposite because when I got closer to Allah, when I got closer to like God, and it's crazy. I never grew up knowing Allah. I grew up knowing just God or whatever, Christian. That's when he kept showing me strength within myself, and then showing me what kind of makes those type of masculines even act that way to begin with. What makes that even happen? And then it's like he gives me messages about just real emperors. But anyways, when I started kind of healing those wounds in me, I started realizing that the people who did that to me as a child opened up so many wounds to where I started attracting men like them. And it was just to remind me that these are the wounds that you have to heal, because you having these wounds, you are attracting echoes of people who resemble the people that you have to cut off. So then once I started healing those wounds, and then I stopped looking for like a mentor, I stopped, because when I asked for that, I received that, and he was an effed up criminal. So when I started being that person for myself, leading myself, stop looking for what I could offer myself, those type of men stopped coming into my life. Like, my clients are really good, positive men, and I learned from all of them. And then it's like the clients that I have, they're such good men. I now see the type of women who manipulate them, who try to make them weaker or feel bad for being like lovers or feeling bad for being soft. And then want to change them by using them to where they become so fearful of being bold or standing up for themselves. I got to see the other end of it. And then it's like I'm able to kind of guide them. And I'm just like, wow, now I see the full spectrum of what's going on. Like my stepdad, as much as I want to be so hateful towards him, I grew up, but I can see what he dealt with, the demons that he was dealing with, like the perversions that he was dealing with, him being abused by his father, all of that stuff. And I was able to forgive him at a very young age. I could also see my grandfather who didn't stand up for me, my baby dads. Their mothers were so abusive as they were kids, to where how they even look at women and teach women. It's not like an excuse, but I can have compassion for who they are and let them go. But I don't feel hateful towards them. I can see them. I can see them in their darkness. But my issue was that I kept seeing everyone's potential, because I can see the God in everyone. I can see the light in everyone, to where I was over giving and nurturing and trying to be everyone's mama. And I had to stop that, because I was the provider, the nurturer, the healer, everything. So I'm able to give this advice because a lot of men who are in that super toxic energy don't know what's pulling them into that. And why you're attracting the woman that you attract that keeps you triggered like that is because of the wounds that you have to heal within a kid. So you have to go against your flow, because the lies are in the flow. And how people manipulate your choices are by keeping you in a low frequency. And so women or men come into your life they act like the healed version of your wound. But the only way you attract those people is by feeling like you need those people, because it shows the lack within you. So you try to have it fulfilled outside of you. So me feeling like I needed someone to help me with all this stuff, I attracted people who wanted people who felt like they needed help so they can come in like that help. No, I'm going to help myself to the best capacity, and then people will come in and add me to that. But I don't need anyone to guide me. I need someone to add to me, to help me take someone who doesn't want to fix me, someone to say, look, I can help make you better. But that can only come after I become the version of me that helps myself. Everything is opposite. So a lot of men who become players, because they feel like they don't want to give their heart, because they feel like if they do that, then someone will play them. That's because a version of yourself knows that you would have to be vulnerable and let all your guards down, and you will risk someone literally coming in and hurting you. So it's easier for you to put your walls up and allow a whole bunch of women to come in, and you feel like you're in control, but you're not. You're actually not in control. True control is releasing it and understanding that anybody can get hurt. But it's giving yourself the opportunity to be hurt, but knowing that you have the power to heal yourself. And I had to learn that. I went through so much abuse with men, even recently, to where no one tried to just help or protect me, to where I should be a cold bitch. I should be. I should think that every man is the same right now. I should think that there is no man out there worthy of my love. There is no man out there that has the capacity to protect me. So I should be so super into my masculinity right now. But fuck that. I am very masculine, but I'm also very feminine too. Excuse my language right now, but sometimes it just comes out. Everything is in the opposite. So if sometimes the enemy knows you from a child what you have the capacity to be. Like if you have the capacity to be so loving and giving to a person, and that person the same way into you. Okay? If you have the capacity to do that and become a powerful match with someone, it's going to make you not want to be that. So you give it to so many people. So it's going to keep bringing women in who look like they're that empress to your emperor, but they're not. And then you give up wanting that so much to where you try to build it all by yourself. For me, it wanted to obstruct my view in protectors and men, so that I don't want to step into my femininity. The version of me who receives and creates and builds and who can trust a man to lead. It wants me to become that. And you want to know what? I'm glad it did that, because it showed me that I don't want someone to come in and save me. I want someone to match me. I don't want to be less. I want to be equal. So in a way it helped. But it helped me see the brokenness in everyone who wounded me. And it helped me have compassion to forgive them. And also forgive those who couldn't step up to protect me. Because they too had a version of themselves who probably wasn't protected as well. In different ways. We are all here to teach each other lessons. And there's two paths. The universe does everything in twos. There's a path of you who's one way, and then there's a path of you that's another. And Yeshua was trying to teach that. He kept talking about the gates to heaven, as within, so without. But if you go deeper into the book of Thomas, Yeshua gave the map. The book of Thomas first starts off like this. Whoever finds the meaning of these words will not taste death. So, right after that, it goes into two. The first one. The one who seeks should not cease seeking until he finds. So that's the journey that I went on. And I wasn't really seeking anything. I was just seeking, why the F am I not happy? Why am I not abundant? I have all of these skills. God blessed me with tools. I am a lover. Why am I not in love and happy and making a whole bunch of money? Why am I not going through this? Why is my reality not reflecting what I truly want? And when he finds, he will be dismayed. Now, why when someone finds the truth, will they be dismayed? I have to go deeper into that. And then it said, and when he is dismayed, he will be astonished, and he will be king over all. So I have to go deep into that. Now, what do most people expect? To seek, to find, and then to celebrate. But everything is the opposite. In the book of Thomas, what Yeshua was teaching is that you seek, you find, you're dismayed, you're astonished, and then you reign. So why would you be dismayed? Because for the truth to live, the illusion has to die. Okay? The illusion has to die. So go back to this. Whoever finds the meanings of these words will not taste death. Because if you're living in the truth just lives because the truth just is. If you're in the illusion has to die at some point in time. Because it's a lie. And what happens? Everything in the dark always finds the light. So if you're living in truth, nothing has to die. It's just the truth. Your identity, your beliefs, your fears, your ambitions, and your enemies, even your understanding of God, were built on incomplete perceptions. Then discovering what is real can be deeply unsettling. Imagine spending your entire life believing you are one thing and suddenly seeing that you are something entirely different. I believed my whole life that men were weak. I did. Because I was like, how the F can you not see that this person is corrupt? How can you not see that? How can you not trust something that someone is saying and is showing proof for? So I used to just think that about men until I had to really kind of go in and see. I thought myself, everyone would call me dumb. Everyone would call me stupid. All these things. And then because I didn't have someone to support the genius in me or my artistic self or the knowledge that I had even as a child. I had a mom who always called me dumb, a stepfather who always called me dumb, everyone who called me these things and wouldn't pour into me, exes who called me dumb. It's like I started to just be like, there must be something wrong with me for me to keep getting this treatment. But then when I started healing those wounds and cutting everyone else off, I got to see myself. Calling me evil for having these gifts, I'm very holy. I may not speak very polite. I may curse. I may use some tarot cards sometimes. But I'm very righteous. I do things the right way. You know? Then you start thinking that everything is opposite. And then you start seeing how much of other people are living in the illusion. And that made me very isolated and alone. Because in order for me to be with those people, I could only be around them with a version of myself who was less. Because they carried me as if I was less. You discover the kingdom was never elsewhere. So, how is the kingdom within you? Because there's two kingdoms. There is two kingdoms. You know how they say there's a kingdom in heaven and a kingdom in hell? In front of you, in your choices, in your choice, there's two kingdoms. There's you walking in your heaven, and then there's you walking in your hell. Your hell is the path that you choose based on your wounds. And your heaven is the path that you choose from wholeness. Everything is opposite. Heaven is on earth. It's the path that you create. Because while you're creating, you are co-creating with God. That's the destined path. That's your destiny. Hell is the path that just happens to you. A reactive path. A path that you inherit based on trauma, based on wounds. So the conflictions that you go through are because the people who are in your life are people that you attracted from a low frequency. So your lower self is what's serving you, but your lower self in hell is what's leading you. But your lower self, the physical, is what's supposed to lift up and serve the higher self. What's terrifying becomes magnificent because you will finally see that heaven is actually right here when you choose. So when I kept going through that smoke and I can't move forward because what is the devil? The author of confusion. The truth is simple and it's clear. God's saying if you want peace, remove it. Remove what doesn't give you peace. Simple. But the devil wants you to be confused out of how to take 2 steps forward. So it wants you to feel like you got to fight so hard for what you want. And then it's going to bring in what you want in the form of a person. So that way you can believe that that's your savior. Someone that's coming to save you, to be like, here you go. You work so hard for this, so I'm going to hand it to you. But the true blessing is peace in realizing that you didn't even need him to begin with. So heaven and hell are literally right in front of you. And you keep walking in the heaven as you remove things that keep you from heaven. It's not about receiving what you ask for. The answers are given in the space in between. So you can literally wake up and be in heaven, or you can wake up and be in hell. That's why he said the kingdom is within you. Because within you is peace. So let's talk about the Garden of Eden. Let's go back to that. How was Satan even in the garden? Because heaven and hell both exist at the same time. Adam and Eve took themselves out of the garden. Got my terms mixed up. God didn't kick them out. They kicked themselves out because when Eve bit the apple, hell became within her. And then when Adam did that, it became within. When you eat something, it became within. They consumed it. So now he was in their minds. Before, what was he doing? Just trying to convince them. He was external. But he manipulated them. He manipulated their choice so he could enter. What did I tell you before? The enemy is only useful if it can block you physically. And it's only useful to God is if it can show you how you're blocking yourself. But it can only do one thing, affect your choice. So the only way, so everyone's considering Eden being this physical place. No, if you're not in peace within you, then there is no peace outside of you. There is no Eden outside of you. If they had peace within them, they could build them another garden. They had dominion over earth. But everyone is categorizing a garden and being in a freaking location. Damn. I don't know where this stuff is coming from right now, but I'm just going to go. Let's keep going. So, you make 2 steps forward as you remove what keeps you from your peace. So as you keep going within, you're like, man, all right, I went through this as a kid and it made me become this person. And in becoming this person, I act like this. So because I was played so much, or because I was manipulated so much, or because my heart was broken so much, I'm a cold person. So now I deal with all these women because I cut them all off. Cut them all off. This person right now is stressing me because this person keeps wanting me to solve their problems. Cut them off. Or just stop solving their problems. And let them rise to be a person who solves their own. Or if they don't, cut them off. Because that person only fits an identity of you who is acting from the wound. Cut it off. Here's the thing about heaven. God is not going to let demons enter your heaven. You right now are not in heaven because you got all these negative entities running within you. So heaven above, heaven below. So why would God let people enter his heaven? Your wounds are portals. You have to close the doors within you so you are whole. And then you can truly hear God and you can co-create and build with God. But why would he have you build a heaven that an entity can just run up through and destroy? Why do you think a lot of people get so successful and then they're empty? Because they ascended externally. Now, that empire that they built from the wounds and attracted all those people, a whole bunch of negative stuff is running through them. So that's why sometimes people become very spiritual later in life. Because now they want to ascend internally. So for me, God didn't allow me to do that. God kept destroying my stuff because I had to come to a certain level internally. Now I can build. Now I can teach. Now I can be the teacher that I wanted to be. But I had to be all of that within myself. I had to close those doors. Because before, when I first started, I wasn't ready. I thought I knew stuff, but I didn't. Like a lot of other teachers out there that they want to climb to the top and be these teachers because they sound good. But they won't truly go through the freaking storm for it. They won't go through the terrain. And the enemy knows that. So the enemy feeds them so much stuff for external validation. But I'm not trying to walk you through no happy sunshine. I am walking you through stuff that's going to be hard for you to do. But I promise you, as you start, you will do it for yourself. The goal is to not wait to die and go to heaven. The goal is for you to see it. Why do you think Yeshua said in the book of Thomas this at the end of it? It's all in plain sight. If those who lead you say to you, look, the kingdom is in the sky, then the birds of the sky will precede you. Come to know what is in front of you, and that which is hidden from you will become clear to you. So if you truly knew that heaven was in front of you and the people are around you are the ones that are keeping you out of it because they're not welcome in heaven, because you're blocking yourself from heaven, you will remove them. If you truly knew that heaven was as simple as a choice of you removing everything that keeps you from heaven, you will remove everything. You will give everyone an eviction notice. For there is nothing hidden that will not become manifest. When you truly see heaven, there is nothing hidden that will not become manifest. You will manifest your heaven. You will manifest in physical, your dreams, your goals, what you truly desire. Do not live and do not lie and do not do what you hate. Because God is love. The lie is that your abundance is not there. So sometimes some people are given so much physical abundance, but they lack true abundance love, because the enemy knows how powerful you would be if you were to open up to true love. They don't want you to have all of it, so they want you to have a piece of it. And some of you guys who have so much love but lack the physical, it's because you have people around you that are keeping you from that. Actually, that goes for both of you guys. And it's to show you that you don't know what you have within you. You don't know that your heaven is already right there in front of you. But you have to close those doors because God is not allowing you to build that with what you have around you. So for me, I went through a phase of having no abundance. And it was because I had people still in my energy who would have corrupted it. So I had to heal those wounds that would attract those people, because here's the thing. So it's like, let's say this. God wants me to build something specifically. But if I had those wounds still open, I would have attracted people into the vision who would have just messed it up, who would have took from it. So I had to stop being an energetic match for those people. So sometimes God will keep what we're trying to build or manifest on hold so that we can do the internal work and attract the right thing. So sometimes, like, if you want like the right partner, God will keep sending you the wrong partner so that way you can see what's still in your energetic field. And he will do that in the echoes. He will show you. So I kept getting like the same type of like clients and business partners who wanted me to just do all the work, wanted me to do everything. So I had to become a person that wasn't going to accept that anymore. So as I build, I will attract the right people who are supposed to be a part of what I am building. And that's how you build your kingdom. Because if you're building something and God is giving you that idea to build it, he is not going to let those people into your Eden. God is not going to let people into there. So he wants you to fix that. He wants you to cut it off. And that's what Yeshua was trying to teach you guys. As within, so without. As within, so without. You have to close the doors to you. You have to close those portals because the kingdom lives within you. But you have a lot of people taking from your kingdom. You sleeping with all these people. They're taking from your kingdom. You working with all these people who are draining you. They are taking from your kingdom. That's why it says, hold on, let me go back. It says, seek, find, just be dismayed, be astonished, because what's terrifying becomes magnificent. And then it says, he will be king over all. And what does he will be king over all mean? It means you will be king over fear. You will not be ruled by fear. You will not be ruled by social conditioning. You will not be ruled by unconscious desires. You will not be ruled by external authority. You will be inwardly free because you will be whole within yourself. You have to seal your empire. And guess who's the empire? You are the empire. Salvation does not descend from the clouds. Salvation is within you. You are the salvation. I remember 4 years ago when I started this, I created this. When I was first learning this, I was like, we often read that salvation will descend from the clouds, but what if that's the lie? What if everything is opposite? What if salvation doesn't descend, but rises from the shadows of darkness? Why? Because everyone thinks that someone has to come down and save them, or we have to die to experience heaven. And God is saying, build. But when you seal yourself, no one can come in and tear it down. So when you build your empire inwardly, then you will know how to build a solid empire outwardly. This is how you truly manifest a legacy. This is how you bring into reality what your dreams are. This is how you make all of your dreams come true. You seal the door to your dreams. But what people try to do is, if you're ruled by fear, unconscious desires, conditioning, and external authorities, people will try to control you in a court system. People will try to control you with fear or with social conditioning or everything. So that's why when people build an empire, their reputation weighs so much. It weighs so much. But what you build with God, so that's why for me, like, I had someone tarnishing my stuff so much and trying to create a bad reputation to where that wasn't even my reputation. But I built so much within me to where can't nobody freaking destroy it. Because I'm solid within me. I know who I am. And I know the abundance and the power that I have within me. But what the enemy did was it wanted me to feel like the only way that I could be happy or successful is if I had people believing me and validating me, but I don't give a damn. I don't care. So for you, everything is opposite. One of you guys are a player and you're meant for the ultimate love. And you're meant to receive that. Despite the choices that you made. Despite how many people that you ran through. You are worthy of that. You are still worthy of love despite you receiving so many, and I feel like a man is going through domestic abuse right now. I don't know why. I'm talking to emperors right now. I'm talking to leaders. And even you women out there, you are still worthy of the love. Even me, because I can speak for myself. Despite me not having men defend me or stand up for me, I am still worthy of a protector. But I have to first become my own protector. And protecting myself by not letting some trash men come into my life and try to manipulate me or play me. I had to become wiser. So I can't truly blame the situation. I let that person in. I let the doors be open because of the wounds that I had as a child open the doors. So yes, unfortunately, we can't control the pain that people cause us, but we have the responsibility to close those doors. Everything is the opposite. Illusion of necessity. The other day, I felt like I needed someone. I don't need any man. I want one. I don't need one. Because I'm enough by myself. I am enough by myself. And you don't need all those women to give you. Because you think that you're enough by yourself. I feel you. You feel like a woman can only really just give you the pleasure, but everything else you're good at because you've been betrayed so many times. So you feel somewhere inside of you that you don't need a counterpart, but that's because you feel like you're only good at being the provider because women treated you like that. So you don't know a version of yourself and having a partner, having someone to build with, having someone to help guide you too. Because you had to in some way become that leader, but you were meant to become that for yourself. Because in this world, we are taught that we have to find another half, but no, you have to seal your empire. You have to seal it. And then empires come together and build together. But we are all meant to have our own empire within us. So the reason why your manifestations aren't manifesting and your dreams are not coming true is because your security is flawed. You have a lot of entities that are running through your kingdom. You are biting the apple that Adam and Eve built. So that's why they were locked out of Eden physically, because they allowed the gates to be corrupted internally. As long as they were sealed internally, they would be sealed externally. But the lie is that, oh, they bit the apple and because they got so much knowledge. No, it's because the enemy could now come inside of them. That's what it was. God was trying to protect their inner state. Why do you keep hearing about people being poisoned? Everything is a message to show you what you digest. The enemy wants you to digest. So what do? They give you these false prophets, these false leaders, so you can digest what they're saying and believe it and consume it. And if you consume it within, then these people, that's why women can just, what do? They talk to you and they get you to give something within you, your seed. They talk to you and they come in beautiful. They come in talking like what they want. And then what do? You have sex with them. So you release what's inside of you. Why do you think with Joseph, they wanted to sleep with him? Because they wanted his kingdom within. Pay attention, people. Pay attention. You see, I be trying to have these calm readings, but then I get all fiery because I feel like I'm speaking to you guys. Withhold it. I'm telling you. Go within and go silent. Everyone who you overgive to in your life, we get all these other wounds, but you're only meant to seal your wounds up and to build, and then to give, to help others. But you're supposed to have an empire and give from overflow. So if you are giving or acting or reacting to people because of stuff that happened to you, I need you to change how you act. So ask yourself, if this stuff never happened to you, how would you be acting? And see if they like that version of you. Because there's a version of you who's operating from a hell state, and there's another version of you that's operating from a heaven state. So now you can kind of see the people who align with your heaven or the people who align with your hell by your choice. And all you need is to take 2 steps every day. Just 2 steps. Remove something. And before you want to remove a person, remove the part of you that acted that way first. And watch that person remove. So stop overgiving. Stop over-explaining. Choose yourself. Appreciate yourself. And then see how everyone acts around you. And then start and slowly use that sword. Cut the cord. Adam and Eve felt shame The devil got to them via shame from the things that they did. They felt shame. It wasn't that they were naked. They felt shame for allowing themselves to be manipulated. And the devil used shame. And the shame manifested externally, and from them feeling unsafe, feeling naked. It was an external manifestation of the shame they felt internally in their spirit. So for you, the things that you've done, I did stuff in my life. So outside, people kept trying to judge me so that I would feel shame for what I did. But I know me. I know how I acted. The things that I did, the choices that I made were me acting from wounds. It doesn't mean it was right, but I forgive myself. And I forgive those who didn't see me when I really needed people to see me. But I got a chance to rise to being my own protector. And I'm happy no one did, because I got a chance to redeem my inner child. Was to not let people who didn't protect me or see me or hear me or give me a voice, I was able to give myself that and stay consistent with my truth. Because sometimes we get so afraid to tell our truth or to be who we want to be because we fear rejection. I got a chance to redeem that side of me because I wasn't heard as a child. I became so small. I didn't take care of myself how I should have. I didn't apply myself how I should have. I looked at myself as lesser. And when that situation came again, to where I had more odds, more people not believing me, more coming against me, I had an opportunity to redeem that inner child and rise. Rise to still speak. Rise to still teach. Rise to still show my intelligence. Rise to still love myself. I had a chance to do that. So I had a chance to seal my gates, to protect my heaven, and then to make sure that my kids are still protected. And that is my legacy that I'm going to give to my kids so that they don't have to do that. But the enemy wants for you not to believe that you're loved or worthy of love because of the choices that you made. They wanted Adam and Eve to believe that they weren't worthy of having a garden. Worthy of that. So the story that they paint is that because they disobeyed God, that they have to have a lifetime of hardship. But that wasn't the truth that God wanted people to know. They allowed shame and the devil into them. So it didn't matter what God did or gave them. So that shame went towards Cain. And so Cain felt like he was unworthy compared to his brother because he inherited the shame from his parents. So we have to seal those doors because Adam and Eve, they opened up a portal. But then Yeshua came later and closed those portals. And that's why he was able to release them from hell, because he came and he closed a lot of traumas that a lot of people did before. He freed them from those portals. They were only able to be in hell because they were still in hell within. They died in hell. So they were stuck in hell. So when you free yourself, you free the ancestors before you who are bound by the things that they couldn't overcome. And Yeshua came and did that. He served his mission and he gave a trail. He gave a path. But you want to know something? Everyone's holding on to all these other books. Those books are to show you patterns and how people solve problems. But Yeshua showed a way. And the way will not be found until you come within yourself and have compassion for yourself. Because all God wants you to do is to understand. That's why he said, forgive them, for they do not know. They don't know how much they're loved. They don't know how much they're already forgiven. They want you to believe that Yeshua died for that, but God already gave you that. Yeshua came to show you the way that was already laid bare for you. The message is twisted. God wants you to know that these situations keep occurring in your life just for you to see how it echoes. And for you to silence the echo. It's okay for you to let go of others because they just echo something that you gotta heal within yourself. You deserve a love worth fighting for. But that love worth fighting for only manifests when you fight for yourself. Because God is a compassionate God. But for you to have compassion with others, you have to have compassion with yourself. So I don't fault people who didn't have compassion for what I was going through. Because maybe y'all did not receive compassion that you deserved yourself. So in forgiving myself, I'm able to forgive others. In loving myself, I am able to love others. In healing myself, I am able to sit here. No matter how much I am silenced, no matter how much people want to take and judge me, I am still able to sit here and to help you heal. Because that's who I am. I am a healer. But I could not be that for anyone else until I became that for myself. I couldn't teach others until I taught myself. And I can't lead anyone until I have led myself. Oh man, I didn't know this was going to go this far, but it did. Anyways, I just freaking cried on a video, but whatever. BASIRAintuition.com, my friends. 333 for a reading, 777 for a reading and a strategy. I got my nails done, by the way, so I'm a lot more confident talking. But anyways, yeah, I'm going to go relax right now. This took a lot of energy out of me. But I hope this helps you, man. I hope this helps you. And I hope if you ever meet me in person, you just tell me, just tell me. All I want to hear you say is, yo, I sealed the gates. I found it. I see it. I see what was hidden. And then go to the book of Thomas. I want you to become someone who, where's the notes at? My bad. Let me go back. Become someone who seeks, finds, dismayed, and is astonished, and who reigns. Clear your energy out. What you want to build is obtainable. God just wants you to seal the gates. God bless you.